What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Port Adelaide's defensive structure going into 2023. With the draft coming up and the trade period just ending, a lot of it has played out in the lead up to this moment. So we're going to be talking about Esava Ratugolea and the missed opportunity there and what Port Adelaide could do to fill the gap that is a big key defender that we're looking for to take those big key forwards going into 2023. One of the main factors that we need for 2023 to be quite successful, I would assume. As you've seen, obviously, with the trade period just ending just last week, we were quite successful in the trade period. I thought one of our better trade periods we've had in recent years. More so, we've been successful with getting key draft picks and picking up key players in the drafts. But this year, we've sacrificed the draft to go after players that we think will be handy and fill in spots, which we filled 2 out of the 3 spots I think we were looking for. An explosive midfielder in Jason Horne-Francis joining the team. Basically is a free draft pick in the end, considering he's 19 years old, he's been in the system for a year, and he was a number 1 draft pick. So it doesn't worry me too much about the system there. Junior Rioli as well joining the side. He's a small forward. I think we need, obviously, more components there. We've got Horatio, who's injury prone, McIntyre that's building nicely, and Pau Pepper, Lockie Jones that aren't quite that small forward craft that we're looking for. So we've completed 2 of those 3 spots there. Looking at the delisted free agencies, I think obviously we'll get Francis Evans picked up in the preseason draft, so that'll be coming quite handy. We'll sign him as a delisted free agent. I've seen the list of delisted free agencies as well, and I'll go through them maybe in another video to talk about if one we could target. But overall, the key defender status is still empty. Obviously, we have the stocks there with Piscini looking to build into 2023 after his ACL injury. Tom Cleary, Tom Jonas, you've got Trent McKenzie still there, and also Alia. Now, none of them are explosive key defenders that can take the big-bodied one-on-one. I think that's where Esava Ratugolea was going to come in handy. Now, how much of an impact that has, I know Port Adelaide were very, very disappointed in not getting Esava, and Geelong didn't want to come to the party with pick 33, and that was definitely the highest option we were going to give. Obviously, we're going to be going into the draft with pick 33 and pick 60, and there are a couple of options there that maybe we can consider as tall key defenders, but you want a ready-made one. You want one that you can trust and believe in. And I think Alia, obviously, he did the job on Peter Wright, which was absolutely sensational against Essendon in round 22. You look at Tom Jonas, he can play on his bigger body players. Jake Piscini's that tall defender that we're looking for, but obviously he's still, I wouldn't say raw, but he's definitely going to be inexperienced when it comes to playing on key forwards. When he gets his opportunity. And then you obviously got the other options in Tom Cleary and Trent McKenzie, which always seem to play taller. They have good craft when it comes to being a key defender, and they know how to use their experience and their craftness as a tall defender in a way, and they try and use other ways to try and outsmart their opponent. But overall, when it comes to one-on-one pure strength, I'm thinking of Tom Hawkins. He's just a big body player. I'm thinking of Jesse Hogan for GWS, these big key forward statuses that you have, and they kick big bags of goals, Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay, we don't have 2 matchups for them, let alone 1. So it's those players that you sort of think about when you're going into a draft or a trade period, that you want to target an opposition player to make sure you can counteract those players that are going to be quite damaging against you. And Esava Ratugolea is a failure in terms of that trade, but also I think how much of an impact would have he had? He only played defence for Geelong in the VFL for half a year last season, and yet whilst he was out of favour at Geelong, 5 years, he didn't play much game time and always fell away. It was always a forward option or a second ruck, and obviously they have those field now with Jeremy Cameron and Tom Hawkins playing the forward ruck role, and Reece Stanley and Blitzars as the roaming midfielder ruckman. So he fell out of favour, and the opportunity was there for him to move to a different club for better opportunities, and he would have got it at Port Adelaide. Imagine Tom Jonas, Alia, and Esava Ratugolea all playing in that key defensive role. I think that would have been a massive win for us. But overall, now we don't have that, and we've got to look forward. And it's kind of difficult to think about those situations now. There's not a lot of options as well when it comes to delisted free agents or anyone that's been basically able to trade for draft picks as well. We don't have a lot of leisure in that aspect. So it's a tough position. It's a tough position to be in when it comes to targeting a key defender now. And overall, I think a lot of people in the fan base and in the Port Adelaide community are quite concerned about that. And I don't feel like it's a massive blow up of what it should be. I think we have, if Jason Horne-Francis is taking every clearance outside of the middle, it doesn't really matter who's playing in defence. The ball's not going down there. Like, it's kind of those things you look at now and think, well, we've got to be team orientated. We can't, we can't let it be a one-on-one situation. We have to create a different game plan when it comes to defensive transition to forward transition, and that obviously switches back for the opposition. And what I mean by that is, if I would rather be in a situation where it's a packed play, it's a slow play going inside 50 for the opposition than it is a quick transition and a one-on-one. They're going to beat Tom Jonas in strength. They're going to beat Tom Clurey in height. They're going to beat Trent McKenzie in smartness. It's those types of things that each forward will manipulate on their opposition player. And they're very easy pickings, our defenders, when it comes to knowing what their weaknesses are. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean every defender has a weakness. Like, I'll take myself, for example. Playing as a defender, I'm not that big in terms of bulk and stature. So you play loose. You're trying to outsmart the player when it comes to in the air and on the lead. I think overall it becomes something you need to, position yourself in as well. And that's something that I think Nathan Bassett has to train in the off-season, is looking at ways. And Bassett wasn't the biggest or tallest defender, but he was a smart player. He took 21 marks in a game, intercept marks. They're a bigger component if we're outsmarting our opposition. And we look at 2021 with Aliir, he was the intercept mark. He wasn't playing on a key defender. And I understand that we need to play more key defenders to let Aliir play that role. And he has speed, so he can play on small. But it's definitely something we need to look at. And I think Nathan Bassett needs to really target how we play our opposition more so than what our structure is. Getting that more one-on-one components into the training and stuff like that. And I think it would be very essential for the future, especially Piscini, but also, in the current stocks as well, like Clurey, McKenzie and Jonas. Overall, our defence structure is going to be lacking a bit of height, a bit of strength, but regardless, it's been done before where we've had this height issue and we've been able to push deep into finals 2020, 2021. I think this is just another arisen problem that we need to fix. So slow and steady, we'll see. Thank you very much for watching, Port fans. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this situation. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content. My name's Anthony, and as always, come Pear.